Thank you, Your Worship and members of council. I just want to say that I agree with everything that was said by Ms. O'Shaughnessy, but the thing that bothers me is the suggestion from the previous deputant that if he's not licensed, he doesn't have to pay the MAT tax. That's just not true. The MAT tax is owed by everybody. The licensing has nothing to do with it. They are separate and distinct bylaws. One has to do with licensing. The MAT tax applies to every short-term rental in the city, whether it's licensed or not. And so you owe a bunch of money to the city, as do a bunch of others. The city hasn't done a very good job of chasing you, is the issue, but that's not my problem, and it should be yours. I will echo the concern that this proposal removes something this council has been wrestling with for the past couple of years, and that's attainable housing. This housing, these 56 units, when you look at the prices, come within the definition of attainable that the city has defined. And yet you want to remove them all and make them no longer attainable. I don't know what will happen to the prices of these units. When you look at one of the listings on the real estate sites, the listing lists it as a single-family dwelling at a price of $300,000 or $570,000. That's the two that are currently listed. Sounds like attainable housing to me. It is not listed on the websites as part of an inn or an Airbnb or a potential rental. It just says single-family dwelling. And that's how they're sold. They're bought and sold. Now, there's a bunch of owners in this property who want to do something other than have single-family dwellings. I understand that, and I understand that that's what's driving all this conversation. But those owners are not the majority, and those owners should not be allowed to run roughshod over the other 36 owners. I have two other concerns, and I'm hoping that the mayor can clear this up fairly quickly, but he did not declare a pecuniary interest in this property, and yet I understand that he and the previous mayor both rent facilities on at this property. Their office space.
I do?
That's what I was told. No? Okay. Apologies then. The second, and I'm not talking about I'm talking about on the ground floor, not no, okay. The second concern I have, it should be worrisome to all council members. This application for zoning change was signed by the chairperson of the board of directors of the condo corporation. He signed it as the owner of the property. He's not the owner of the property. He's the chair of the board. And he is one of many owners. He must own one if he's a chairman of the board. Apparently there was a vote taken by the 5 members of the board in September of 2023 to take this action, to apply to the city to call this place an inn. However, as many as you know, condominium corporations in Ontario have a board of directors to make decisions about the day-to-day ordinary running of the corporation. It's far from ordinary, this application. The decision to apply to make the entire corporation an inn is a significant change to the form and nature of the corporation. Each condominium corporation has a declaration with its foundational document. I doubt that the word inn appears anywhere in that condominium corporation declaration. This corporation is no different. It has a foundational document called a declaration. The change being proposed to turn it into a collection of 56 single-family dwellings, from a collection of 56 single-family dwellings into an inn, is fundamental and foundational, and as such, it will require a vote of all of the owners, not just the board of directors. In Ontario, the vote needs to be 90% in favor for the declaration to be so amended. It used to be 100% when I was a condominium owner, but they changed that because you could never get 100. Not many people can get 90. No such vote ever took place. based on this, the council must reject the application as being fraudulent or at least ill-founded. You have a person declaring he's the owner of the whole building. He's not. And he doesn't have a vote of the owners to say he is going to represent them. If council is to go ahead with amending the zoning to create an inn, and any of the 56 owners is unhappy with finding themselves in a bustling B&B, Airbnb inn, where they thought they were in a single-family dwelling amongst other single families, their recourse is going to be to sue you for damages, for ruining their, with all due respect to not making it into a Airbnb hotel. That's essentially what would happen, because you're calling it an inn. And this damages, if it was more than one owner, could be millions of dollars. And I don't think anybody here has thought about that particular course, because you're saying to 56 people, we're pulling the rug out from under you, 36 at least, maybe there's some of the 20 who don't want this done either. And we're pulling the rug out from under you, and we're going to call you an inn from now on. You're not going to be a single-family dwelling in the city of Stratford. Well, you just can't do that and not expect some pushback. Now, I know, I had to ask myself, and I don't know what the answer is, and whether the person who sent out the notice said he sent the notice out about the meeting to the residences around the condominium corporation. Did anybody think to send it to all the owners? I don't know. They did? All the owners got it too. Well, if they did and they sue you because there hasn't been a vote, which would be what would have to happen next. If I was an owner and discovered after this all happens that my quality of life has diminished dramatically, I'd find a lawyer willing to sue the city. They might be able to sue the Bradshaw Lofts or the board of directors, but you're the deep pockets. You're the target for somebody who is unhappy with the decision you made. And if you've made the decision without understanding that this is a fundamental and substantive change to the condominium's declaration, and they haven't had a vote to approve it, woe betide you. You don't have an application from the owner. You have an application from a chair of a board, and he hasn't represented that he has a vote of all the owners to support this application. Now, maybe that'll happen in the next few months, but I would urge you to turn it down in the meantime. Are there any questions?
Seeing none, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
your presentation. Just one moment, please. Councillor Henderson?
Yes, I have a question about the MAT tax. My understanding when we approved that is that people had to be licensed. Is that not true?
Director Kruger?
Through the chair. The definitions in the MAT bylaw do not require them to be licensed in order for the MAT tax to apply. The approach taken by the city in the first 6 months of its operation of the MAT tax was that